Salutations, one and all. This is my reaction and review to RWBY Ice Queendom Episode 10, Mirror of Darkness. And last episode got a little weird. Seriously, we had RWBY try to drive a train directly into Weiss's house because Weiss views RWBY as being free and able to go wherever she wants, so therefore RWBY can drive a train wherever she wants and tracks will just appear. Oh, I love that. I freaking love that. And while all that was going on, Yang and Blake broke into the mansion where White keeps all the White Fang and Faunus locked up, and somehow managed to, well, first off find a relic, so yay, but then also managed to break directly into the Empire, literally opened up a portal in the sky, and rained down an army of the Faunus/Grimm to murder Weiss and destroy her empire. So yeah, that was something. That was certainly something. Still not entirely sure how she did it, but, I mean, it does, fit within Weiss's dream, Weiss's nightmare. I mean, her big fear is this big ultimate battle against the White Fang that will eventually, wipe out either humans or the Faunus. That's terrifying to her. And I guess that's, terrifying to Blake as well, but, she's using that fear to make things fit properly inside of Weiss's nightmare, so all works out. Yay! And I guess while this race war, species war is going on, Yang and RWBY are going to be focused on actually, breaking into the center of Weiss's mind and killing Nightmare once and for all. Hopefully that'll work. Hopefully. Though, I mean, they've already tried it twice, and both times have ended in spectacular failures. But I guess this time, Blake's going to be able to cause enough of a distraction where Weiss won't be able to go, provide backup for the Nightmare. So it might work. I'm very excited to see it, so let's get started in 3, 2, 1. That Grimm is still alive? I thought, they killed it. I thought that just the remnants of it were left alive inside of John, and that's how they were using its powers to hide John. Interesting. Okay, that's a plan. That seems like a very bad plan. And I guess also means that the, Blake that's currently fighting Nega Weiss is actually Nega Blake. Which, oh god, that actually makes it really interesting because not only is this Weiss's nightmare, but it's also Blake's nightmare. Her big fear, the thing she's most terrified of, is a giant war between humans and Faunus, where the only solution is for one side to wipe out the other. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, Blake became Nega Blake. Oh, I love that. I freaking love that. Yeah, I'd say she's, pretty much completely and utterly nuts at this point. Okay, so after they free Weiss, they're gonna need to go inside of Blake's mind and free her. I mean, the Nightmare Grimm will probably still be young and immature, won't have grown enough to where it's, a whole freaking empire, but that's still gonna be, not particularly easy. And this is also a very interesting moment for Blake because she's basically saying, I'm giving you, RWBY and Weiss all permission to enter my mind, to see my innermost thoughts, to see how I really feel about all of you and the world. It just really shows how much she, trusts Team RWBY, and I really love that. Also, I'm kind of, regretting that we never got a chance to see Nega RWBY. Oh, that would be amazing. Also, Nega Yang, which, I mean, interesting, but not that interesting. Nega RWBY would be the most fun for me, honestly. Oh, seeing her nightmares would be so fun, and seeing, the rest of the team have to work together to take her down. Oh, I would love that so much, maybe in a season 2. Oh, interesting. So, basically, what Blake's gonna do is force Weiss to confront all the things she can't figure out, all the things she's been trying to ignore up to this point. Her feelings that the White Fang aren't actually as bad as her father is making them out to be. Very, very interesting. Yeah. Okay, so this plan is really interesting, I really do like it, but how exactly are you planning on explaining this to, the headmaster, Ozpin, and Professor Shion? Are you going to say, yeah, I was in this crazy, evil murder cult that was, all about trying to take over the world and wipe out humanity, but, I'm over that now. I mean, I feel like even the fact that Blake is a Faunus is something she's keeping, fairly close to her chest. It's not something that she's letting a lot of people know about, and now she'll basically need to confess everything to explain why this plan has any chance at all of working. I mean, I've been wondering that for a while, especially Pyrrha. While Weiss and Pyrrha might not be particularly close, Weiss still does, admire Pyrrha, viewing her as the ultimate version of herself, the ultimate huntress. So at the very least, I feel like if Pyrrha did enter the dream, even if the nightmare kind of rejected her, Pyrrha would still be so strong in the nightmare that she'd be able to do a whole lot of damage to it. Okay, so switching out people is in fact a possible option here, and any one of them, Yang, Blake, or RWBY could get knocked out and need to be replaced with, let's say Pyrrha. Pyrrha is the one that makes the most sense here. I mean, I would love to see Nora just go completely and utterly insane inside of Weiss's dream. But, actually, I think about it, Ren could work as well, because, his whole semblance is the ability to mask emotions, mask feelings, meaning they would literally be invisible inside the nightmare from the nightmare itself. So that's actually a very plausible option. Interesting. Also, just now noticed, Yang and Professor Shion, they have very similar eyes, like literally identical eyes. So, I mean, obviously Shion isn't her mother, we know that, unless they're doing some rather insane twist in the series, but could she be a relative of Yang? I mean, she hasn't really spoken to her yet, but the similarities in the eyes is very shocking. Very, very curious about that. Yeah, a lot of times when Yang's like, oh, it's okay, we're positive, we can do this, she's really just putting on, a brave front, a smile, because she's the big sister. She's always had to look after RWBY, make sure she's okay. And while, Blake isn't her sister, obviously, she still feels the protective urge to look after those around her, and, she does not want to see them put themselves in danger, put themselves in harm's way like this. So while she's smiling now, I think she's, just really, really concerned, but realizes, yeah, Blake, you are as freaking stubborn as my little sister, and therefore there's absolutely nothing I can do in this situation other than just pretend everything's okay, like I always have before. Yeah, all these girls need some serious therapy. Yeah, I mean, that means a lot for him to say that. I mean, I think the entire reason why he created Team RWBY, and I do believe he had some hand in manipulating who teamed up with who, is because, he realizes these four have the potential to be the most powerful huntresses in all of history. I mean, we have RWBY with a silver-eyed warrior, the child of two of my best hunters. We have, Yang, also the child of two of my best huntsmen/huntresses. Weiss, who, literally has summoning power and will be the heiress to the largest company in the world, making her incredibly powerful and influential. And then we have Blake, a daughter of the founder of the White Fang, and a rather high-ranking member of it. Someone who can, help bridge the gap, who can end the divide between the two people. Four incredibly powerful and influential individuals who can literally change the entire freaking world. Yes. Oh god, seriously. Nega Ren versus Nega Nora. I have no idea what would happen, but I would so love to see it. And yeah, he's not lying about being adept at avoiding Graham. That's his entire semblance. Oh, duh. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I said before, oh, didn't they kill that Graham? No, they didn't. They made a whole big deal about not killing it and instead putting it in that jar. I completely forgot about that. My bad. Oh, poor bashful Klein. You don't deserve that. Even though you're being used to segregate an entire species of people against their will. Okay, maybe you deserve it just a little bit. Yeah, she's running away because that is the best choice right now. Things are about to get very, very strange for you, Bashful Klein. Oh! Yeah, here we go. Obviously, Adam would be, the star of her nightmares. The one, the biggest influence, the darkest desires, basically a reflection of all her feelings, all her negative feelings about humanity and the way they've treated her and her people. Ooh, that also means that when they go into Blake's dream to kill her nightmare, they're gonna have to kill Adam. Oh, that'll be amazing. That'll be so amazing. And seriously, yes, she's teamed up with a member of the Schnee Dust Company. Not just member, a family member of the family that freaking leads them. And that's something that Adam, I don't think, ever brought up in the main series. Seriously, that would be like my number one complaint if I was this dude. Not only did you abandon me, but now you're best friends with a freaking Schnee heiress. What the frick is wrong with you, Blake? Yeah, Blake, you really should have seen that coming, honestly. I mean, I feel like she's not really hiding it all that much. Her whole team knows, and she just told the secret to, Professor Xion and Headmaster Ozpin. And, I mean, in the main series, Team Juniper knew by, the second volume, so not much of a secret anymore. Though I guess she did continue to wear the bow until, volume 4. So, yeah, alright, it's still a little bit of a secret. Your friends pretty much already accepted you. Even Weiss did before this whole nightmare thing. I mean, she wasn't entirely sure how she felt about you, but she figured, okay, you know what? You're my teammate and I'll trust you. Actually, now I think about it, her almost exact lines were, I'll stop thinking about it, or I don't care anymore. And so she ended up putting those thoughts and feelings she couldn't sort out inside this mansion, inside her head. That is very cool. Oh, poor bashful Klein. Yeah, something is most certainly strange. Oh, gay! I was not expecting his head to turn into a screaming wolf's head, faunus head. Very cool. Run, Yang, run! This is not a place you should be because, you are technically human, and while Blake certainly thinks highly of you, she's not really in the best mindset right now. Oh, I love that. Oh, she looks freaking amazing. Shroud in darkness and the purple flames. Oh, that's so freaking awesome. Seriously. And it was at this moment that Yang realized, oh my god, I'm in love with that chick. Yeah, that sounds about right. And she's literally controlling the nightmare because, she's basically going to war against another freaking nightmare, which is something that nightmares shouldn't, naturally be able to do, but her hatred for Weiss is just that strong. Well, not necessarily Weiss, but everything, Weiss stands for. The company name and just, oppression in general. Yeah, Yang, you're doing really good at running away from all these vines and whatnot. You still have, a coin left. I think at this point you just, portal away. Also, now I think about it, where exactly did she get the motorcycle that she used at the end of last episode? I mean, I think she started off with one here, but I don't remember where exactly she ended up putting it. Oh! Very interesting. Is Blake actually in control enough to tell the nightmare not to go after Yang? Because that would be an incredible depiction of her willpower and inner strength. Oh, that's a very interesting depiction. I mean, I think in Weiss's mind, she's like, okay, are the White Fang really evil? How much horror do they really do to the SDC company? And Blake's mind's like, alright, let's burn all these freakers to the ground! They all must die! Which I think is really gonna help with the whole war between Weiss and Blake right here. Hey, there's her bike. And again, that same freaking sign that seems to mean something. I mean, now they've gotten all the chess pieces, and there's been, chess piece each of the signs. I mean, I don't think there's gonna be one here now, but will it have changed? Will it have some sort of new meaning to it? I'm just really not sure. And that's the moment where Yang rode in on her motorcycle. I don't think she actually needed the motorcycle all that much, but it just helped make, for a very dramatic entrance. Oh, and that was John's cloak she was wearing. Interesting, I'm not really sure what the need for that was either. I mean, is that representative of John's abilities to, basically hide from the nightmares? It's a cloak that covers him, so therefore the nightmares won't see him coming? I'm not sure about that. It's definitely weird the nightmare actually gave her the cloak. I mean, I get that was Blake trying to, support her from the shadows, support her by controlling the nightmare, but I don't really know exactly what it did here. Oh, Blake is having a really fun time here, which Yeah, that's disturbing. That's disturbing. I mean, Weiss, up to this point, Nega Weiss has not been particularly happy about any of this. She has been utterly miserable, attacking her friends and teammates over and over again, but Blake seems to be having a grand old time. And it seems like she's actually able to, keep Weiss on the ropes. I mean, before, Weiss has utterly crushed them in every battle, but here, Blake's not doing half bad. Good for her. RWBY, your big sister is here! Yay! God, she looks awesome. God, she looks freaking awesome. Oh, John, that would take so very, very long to explain to you. Lots of stuff. Lots of crazy stuff happened. Oh, yeah! Big ol' Papa Schnee. Still gotta deal with him, don't you? Maybe using the sword that might represent his father-in-law? That would make some sense, I think. Oh, I love it when she goes pedal mode. I love it! Oh, that was beautiful. I mean, is it really necessary to keep the giant statue's attention if you're just going to go inside the building? I mean, you said, like, 2 episodes ago, hey, if we go in the building, it's not like the statue can attack us. So that feels like an interesting choice to make, but, whatever. This means RWBY can be the big hero who ends up stopping the nightmare once and for all, as is her right as the leader of Team RWBY. Is Yang stopping the giant monster's fist with the power of her motorcycle? Oh, is that really ridiculous? Yes, yes, yes! Hit him again! Hit Whitley again, please! Oh, come on! Are you freaking kidding me? You lost the relic to Whitley? To god dang Whitley? God above. There we go. Oh, wow. She actually put a hole in his wing. And that's the reason... Oh, wait. Is that the reason why? I mean, I think Weiss actually said the reason why the gun went the other direction now is to, be able to use it against those who are hiding in the shadows. And that sums up Whitley fairly well. Was the entire point of, RWBY's new sniper rifle just to shoot at Whitley? Oh, Weiss, that is so brutal, and I love it. Yeah, I think it was. I think that's exactly how Weiss wanted RWBY to use it. Love it. Yeah, this fight does not seem to be going all that well for Weiss. I mean, the nightmare they extracted from John was a fairly, young and immature one, and it's only been possessing Blake for a few minutes at most. It feels weird that she is suddenly so much more powerful than Weiss is. I mean, could it be that, maybe the Grimm that's in charge of Weiss is essentially starting to, go hungry? It's consumed all of Weiss's negative emotions to the point where Weiss is very close to death. And now this new one that's possessing Blake has fresh access to all of Blake's feelings and emotions and therefore is more powerful than the one that's starting to go hungry, sucking Weiss dry? That would make a certain level of sense, I suppose. Oh, there we go. The thing Weiss's innermost child wants most of all in the world is to kick her father's freaking butt. Huzzah! Oh, and again the sword. The sword that probably just saved John's life because he tripped on it. The sword has some meaning. As I said before, I think it represents, Big Nicholas and Weiss's feelings for her grandfather, who actually started the company, who is her hero. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, that makes absolutely no sense, but Yang beat me to the punch. Only in a dream can you ride on the side of a building. This is so utterly ridiculous. And I really do think, having this whole season, or most of the season, take place in a dream really worked in the favor of this series because, nothing is too ridiculous when, oh, it's all dream logic. There we go. Yang actually managed to do some damage to this giant Titan monster. Good for her. Oh, though I think she just ended up making him way, way more angry. Which would make sense. Also, someone mentioned before, I didn't have a chance to, it does seem like Blake, not only is she wearing, an Adam outfit, but even her weapon seems to, be emerging of Adam's weapon and her own, turning into something way more deadly. Oh, thank you, Blake. Yeah, this is something that Weiss is somewhat aware of, but she doesn't really, accept the fact. She doesn't really want to embrace the reality that, okay, yeah, the White Fang has killed a lot of my friends, a lot of my, board members, a lot of people I know, but at the same time, we did kind of deserve it because we have done so much worse to them. So much worse. And, that's something she's been rejecting over and over again, and now Blake is literally, rubbing it in her face, forcing her to acknowledge the truth of it. And that also might be the reason why, Weiss isn't doing so well here, because she knows that she is in the wrong. She knows that her feelings about the faunus are wrong, and therefore she's not really able to fight as well as she would normally. Oh, I love seeing her eye through the mask like that. So intimidating. Okay. Why is she being wrapped up more? And also the pattern on her arms are looking very strange. So it doesn't look the same way, the same vine pattern that's on Weiss's arm or that was on John's body. Curious. Is she actually losing control to the Grim? Or is it just, really feasting on her negativity and becoming way more powerful as a result? Oh, she looks concerned, so whatever's happening is clearly not good. Oh, I suppose that's true. I didn't realize that. I was wondering before why Blake is so much stronger than Weiss is, but it's because, Weiss is still rejecting Nightmare. She's trying to separate, the parts of her that she doesn't want to actually consume, and as a result, it's having a much harder time, but Blake is like, alright, fully embrace me, consume me, make me a weapon of your hatred. And that could be bad. That could be very, very bad. So, yeah, freeing Blake after everything is said and done might be way harder than they first thought. Alright, so for the third freaking time, RWBY has made her way to this chamber. And, the last two times not go all that well, but she certainly has a bigger advantage right now because, Blake is doing a very good job at holding back Nega Weiss. Yang is holding back Big Nicholas, and John is somewhat holding back Weiss's father, plus RWBY herself just crippled, Weiss's brother, so that's good. All that's really left would be, Weiss's sister Winter and Weiss's mother Willow, who I can't imagine to be, all that powerful, all that much of an impediment to RWBY. Willow was, okay, let's go start with Willow. Willow was just, a drunk shadow laughing over and over again. That would certainly be a fun fight to see RWBY face off against her, but that seems unlikely. And then finally, Winter is the book, who Weiss usually has on her. They don't actually see it right here, so that could still end up being a problem. RWBY having to fight Winter, having to fight, Weiss's idealized version of herself. She always wants to live up to the standard being set by Winter, being strong and confident and honorable and dignified and utterly and completely perfect. So that could be interesting fights. Though, of course, there is still the Grim itself that she has to kill. Wow, okay, so Weiss's perfect little empire is not doing all that well right now as the faunus world is raining on top of it as the two nightmares try to consume one another and basically merge the dreams together. You literally spent your entire life, living a life of luxury. Not pleasant luxury, but certainly luxury off of the back of forced faunus labor. So while you haven't really done anything too bad in the real world, besides being just a little bit racist, you're still, not a great person. You've still been profiting off the back of the faunus, off of their suffering, and you deserve to suffer a little bit for that, or at least apologize for it. Or just admit you were wrong. Admit that your family is wrong for the way they treat the faunus. That'd be great. If you could just do that, that would be great. Seriously? Seriously, that's a really weird line coming from Weiss, given the fact that, they all broke into Weiss's mind to, literally do that, to strip off the mask and force her back to her senses. And now she's trying to do that to Blake. I love it. Yes, Ruby, good job. Securely put away the relic so you won't drop it again. Seriously, zip it up. Zip it up, for God's freaking sake. Seriously. How many relics have you lost at this point? 2. You've lost 2 relics. They've been smashed because Weiss was able to steal them from you. Bad move, Ruby. Bad move. But finally, you're making good choices. You're locking away the relics so it can't get damaged. Very good. Very, very good. Okay, what's that over there in the corner on the right? I don't think I was there before. Is that just smashed seats from the last 2 times they tried to do this? Oh, she still has the grim mark on her hand. Yeah, right there. It does look a bit smaller and fainter than it was before, so I think they'll be able to, it won't be a big issue. I don't think Ruby's going to be so consumed by her negativity that she'll fall asleep again, but that is, still quite worrying. And heck, might actually be able to see negative Ruby before things are said and done. I would so love that. I would so love to see that. I mean, after, the stress trying to keep her whole team together this literally last 10 episodes, seeing her break down and seeing her just cry and just seeing her get emotional would be so amazing. I would so love to see that. Yeah, that thing's definitely gotten bigger, and actually being able to pierce its innermost center is not going to be easy. Though, on the bright side, Ruby does have her semblance, which lets her get really, really small, and will let her, avoid the vines for the most part. Yay! There we go, Ruby. There we go. It's going freaking supersonic. I love it. I mean, let's not forget, Weiss believes that you can go anywhere, that you are utterly and completely free. Meaning that in her dream, your semblance is way more powerful than it would be in the outside world. At least at this point in the series. Is this where it's going to end? We have literally a minute left. Is this where it's actually going to end? Her screaming, charging towards the big bad, and then fade to black. The end. Yep, that's exactly what freaking happens. Are you goddamn kidding me? Okay, so, yeah, I don't think her plan of, just attacking it head on is going to go all that well, especially because, we still have 2 episodes left. Next episode, God above, Weiss versus Blake, or Nega Weiss versus Nega Blake. Not really sure who's going to come out on top there. John versus Jock, or Weiss's version of Jock, which is going to be interesting, especially because he had the sword right next to him. I mean, he wasn't strong enough to lift it earlier on, when he first came up in this world, but he's definitely grown since then, so maybe, he can lift it now. Maybe he'll actually be able to use it to take out Jacques, which I would so love. And again, I'm definitely theorizing the sword has some sort of connection to Big Nicholas, somehow, some way. Speaking of him, we have Yang, who's driving up the side of a building, or long side of a building, I suppose, facing off against Big Nicholas himself. And, she was able to do some damage. She was able to, break his hand a little bit. So, yeah, this fight won't be completely and utterly impossible. I mean, I'm pretty sure the statue can actually, shoot death beams from its eyes. So that's something she still needs to be on the lookout for. But, it could still go well. It could still go well for her. And then Ruby, has to face off against the Grimm itself and manage to stop it, manage to actually defeat Weiss's nightmare once and for all. Huzzah! And then, we have the new plot element, mainly the fact that they still need to go into Blake's mind and erase the nightmare from her as well. Which I think would be a very interesting moment for Weiss, being able to really see, Blake's feelings, how she truly feels, the experiences that she's had to face up to this point. And as Blake said, this is her chance to show Weiss all the persecution the Faunus have faced throughout their entire lives. And Weiss is like, well, I didn't do any of that personally. And it's like, yeah, no, but your family did. And, the money you make from that, the money your family makes from that is paying for your time at Beacon Academy. It's paying for all your clothes, paying for literally everything you buy with your corporate card. So, yeah, that's bad. That is really bad. And, Weiss is, I think, fairly well aware of the fact that her family has not treated the Faunus all that great, but I think, she's been ignoring it so much, she doesn't actually understand the true implications of history, what humans have really done to the Faunus over years, decades, centuries, millennia, and especially what her father has done to the Faunus over the last 10, 20 years or so. So yeah, having Weiss actually, be forced to face that is going to be so amazing. I'm so excited to see more of that. And Blake seems to be having a, just really grand time as all this is going on, which definitely concerning. Definitely concerning. I mean, her nightmare has almost grown stronger than Weiss's nightmare simply because, she didn't reject it and because she has a strong aura. Though I'm guessing Weiss has one as well. I mean, I always kind of assumed Weiss was kind of, like a glass cannon, like really strong, but can't really take a hits. Blake, though, seems a bit more durable, so maybe her aura is more robust, as Professor Xian said, and she'll be able to produce enough aura to keep the Grimm very, very well fed until it becomes too powerful for any of them to stop. Yay! Oh, that's gonna be fun, but let's see what next episode's called. Alright, next episode, Light and Shadows. And this certainly feels appropriate given the whole, Weiss versus Blake fight going on right now. And each side's both just trying to convince the other, okay, this is what I've been through, this is what I've experienced, this is the hardships I've had to overcome, so that they understand, okay, this is where you're coming from, this is why you feel the way you do, and hopefully, once it's all said and done, they'll be able to reach some sort of middle ground and move forward together as friends. Hopefully, but please let me know what you think about all this down below. Did Weiss actually flip around Ruby's gun for the sole purpose of shooting Whitley? Oh, I hope so. I hope that's the reason. What's going to happen in the various fights? Will Ruby be able to stop the nightmare? And if so, what's going to happen to Blake after that? Are all of them just going to have to team up to, infiltrate Blake's mind next? I mean, it could be really cool because, Weiss is like going to be so wiped and exhausted from all of this. And they're going to be like, oh, Weiss, you should rest. Weiss, you should rest. And she's going to be like, no, I need to go. I need to see how Blake truly thinks of me. Oh, I love that. Also, is John going to do something impressive with the giant sword, or is he just going to, fail over and over again? Both entirely possible given his character. And, oh, yeah, also, it was mentioned that, Professor Xian can swap in someone if, need be. So could it be that, one of them is going to get replaced with another member of Team Juniper? I mean, replacing John with Pyrrha would be interesting, certainly. Because, like I said, Weiss views Pyrrha so highly that in the nightmare, Pyrrha would be crazy powerful. Ren, meanwhile, he just has the ability to hide himself and others from the Grimm, so very useful ability inside of a Grimm-fueled nightmare. Nora, I mean, she's crazy, so she could do literally anything inside this dream. Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun to see. But yeah, just let me know what you all down below. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss my next video. And until then, peace!